Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/talkingdead. Over 85,000 titles to choose from for your iPod or MP3 player. Hi, my name is Chris.
And my name is Jason.
And this is The Talking Dead, a podcast dedicated to the AMC TV series The Walking Dead. Hey everybody, welcome to The Talking Dead. This is episode number 48, inching a little bit closer to 50 for Monday, July 4th, 2011. Happy Independence Day, everyone in the United States.
Happy Independence Day.
We had our holiday on Friday last week, known as Canada Day. That is essentially our Independence Day.
It is.
And it just happens to kind of line up with July 4th in the U.S.
Kind of, a little bit, sort of, yes.
Before we get into things here, Jason, tell me what you did for the holiday. Did you celebrate it?
We did. We went to Ottawa, actually. We went to Ottawa and celebrated Canada Day in our nation's capital.
That's right. I was going to say, that's the place to be if you're going to celebrate the country's
we didn't go downtown or anything like that. We just kind of hung out on my brother-in-law's deck and had a good time and listened to the fireworks.
All right.
We couldn't see them, but we could hear them.
Oh, you could hear them. That's fine.
Yeah.
Does your family in Ottawa watch The Walking Dead?
I don't think so.
It's
never come up.
You should get them on board. You should see what are they TV people?
Not really, no.
Oh, see, I don't understand that.
Well, yeah, they're not TV people, so I don't think they do, but they may.
All right. Well, I spent the holiday
watching TV.
Yeah, I do watch TV almost every day. Mm-hmm. But I was out of town for a night, and then I came back and built a retaining wall around a jungle gym in my backyard.
Sweet.
Good times for
that
me.
Jungle gym is now retained.
It sure is. It ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
On our program today, it's very exciting. We are doing our Walking Dead actor spotlight on Norman Reedus, everybody's favorite character on the show. I think between him and Glenn, those are a couple of fan favorites. So this is very exciting. I tweeted out this morning that tonight is our Norman Reedus actor spotlight, which was subsequently retweeted by Norman Reedus.
That was pretty sweet.
That was great. So I wanted to send out a quick big thank you to him for doing that and making it known that we will be talking about his past work on the program later on.
Yep, very exciting.
Before that, though, as always, we're going to run down the current week's Walking Dead news, and there's a fair bit of good information this week. Lots of interesting stuff to talk about, including some new cast members and some information on shooting season 2. So why don't we get right into that?
Jump right in.
Excellent. First day of shooting season 2 video. This has been all over the net for a little while now, or well, at least about a week or so, I think.
That's forever on the internet.
Yeah, that is forever. That's true. So there's a quick sort of video of the cast and crew shooting season 2.
In the heat.
Yeah, it's hot again in Atlanta. Apparently, it's always hot down there.
Well, except in the winter, I suppose.
Even then, I have a feeling it's still hot in Atlanta.
At least July.
At least by our standards.
Yeah.
You know, when it's minus 28 here, it's probably still, pretty nice down in Atlanta.
Let's go.
Why
are we still here?
Yeah, I ask that question every winter. So we watched the video. I've seen it a few times, and you just watched it 5 seconds ago. That's right. Before we started recording. And what did you think of it?
It was good. I mean, it was nice to see. They're in sort of a traffic jammy kind of, traffic jam of the apocalypse kind of thing.
That's right.
It looks like the heat is playing havoc on the camper, Dale's camper, because there seems to be steam or smoke coming out of the engine.
That's something I noticed too. It looks like that RV is broken down once again.
Yep. And Dale comes out of there looking pretty angry that his camper has broken down.
It broke down in season 1 in the Jim episode, or at least the episode where they left Jim by the tree, right? That's where he decided not to go on. They were on their way to the CDC. That was episode 5, I think.
Right.
And there was. Do you remember what the problem was? There was a belt that
don't recall.
tore or something like that.
Yeah.
It looks like
kind of engine-y thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not really engine-y, so I don't know.
It looks like here that may have just simply overheated.
Yeah.
So also a problem. But there's cars all over the place, and I would imagine some zombies amongst the cars.
Right. So if you don't get the coolant from the cars, somehow you could use the zombies to cool off. I don't think so. So that is to siphon some coolant out of the other vehicles.
Can you do that? Can you siphon coolant?
Why not? You open up the radiator and get a hose and a bucket, siphon it out.
All right. Why not? The only thing I've ever siphoned in my life is water out of a turtle tank. But that sounds gross. A whole different story. Yeah.
That's salmonella soup right there.
Ooh, I know it was gross. I had a bit of tequila after to kill all the germs.
Probably smart.
Yeah. So they're stuck on the road. It was kind of fun to see them. They didn't really. We saw a couple of scenes of actual shooting but it was really just characters walking around and things like that. It was kind of fun to see the behind the scenes. It looks like a lot of people hung out underneath cars.
That's where the shade is.
Yeah. And
you think of giving them an umbrella or a tent or a trailer or
I
something.
don't know. Go roll under that car.
That car is jacked up pretty good. Just go hang out under there.
You'll be fine under there. Everything's good.
Sarah Wayne Callie got a sandwich under that car.
She got a sandwich. Where better to eat lunch, really?
Really? Yeah.
If
you're lying under a car, what's the best thing that could happen? Someone hands you a sandwich.
That's what she said too. She said life doesn't get any better than this.
How could it?
That's right. And it ends with a pretty funny clip with Stephen Yeun sitting in a car with a zombie
on a date.
On a date. That's right. He's not sure if it's a man or a woman zombie.
Doesn't matter.
And he's holding his or her hand. I kind of expected at the end the zombie to start moving. Didn't you?
No, it looked pretty real. I'll give it that.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if that was a real person just lying still or if it was a dummy.
No, it was a dummy. The way when he was holding his hand near the end, it obviously was very flexible.
Oh,
it didn't
true.
have any bones or anything.
The hand didn't look real.
It
But before that, you couldn't really tell.
It was very still.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't think of that. I just thought it was somebody there and it was going to start moving all of a sudden and frighten everybody.
No, I didn't expect that.
Okay. Well, there you go. If you want to check out that video, we'll have a link for it in the show notes. It's also on the Walking Dead blog on amctv.com. It was just kind of fun to see them back to business.
Back to work.
I'm looking forward to more of these videos. So we'll bring you links to those as they're released. All right, on to the big news of the week. We have 3 new cast members announced. Now, these are all members of the Green family. For anyone who doesn't remember, that is Herschel and his family at the farm.
Cast of characters?
Cast of characters, exactly. The first casting announced was that Pruitt Taylor Vince will be playing Otis. Not technically a member of the Green family, but works on the farm.
Well, of course. Every farm has to have somebody named Otis, right?
He's a farmhand.
Well, yeah, if you're going to have a farmhand, it's best to name him Otis.
I guess so. Is that the name you take on when you get the job?
Well, it could be. Or if you work for an elevator company.
Or if you're named Otis, are you destined to be a farmhand?
Or work for an elevator company. I mean, if you're going to name your kid Otis, you pretty much guaranteed he's going to work as a farmhand or he's going to be an elevator technician.
Is that because elevators are made by a company called Otis?
There is a company called Otis, and it was a guy with his last name named Otis that invented the elevator.
Good for him.
So you look down when you go into an elevator and you see that there's little nameplates as you step onto an elevator. Mm-hmm. Most of them are Otis. I find.
It's probably a very rich man. Or
and very dead.
His family. Yeah.
Oh, quite dead, yeah.
I hope he didn't die in an elevator accident.
Oh, geez, that would be sad.
Like the Segway guy.
He didn't invent the Segway, though. He just was the head of
the company and then drove it off a cliff and died. I know it's not funny,
funny.
But
it is funny. It's sad. Silly.
So Pruitt Taylor Vince, Jason, do you know who this guy is? Have you seen him in anything else? Movies such as Constantine?
Nope.
Wait, we saw Constantine.
Wait, I'm going to just pull up his IMDb thing here.
I believe you and I actually
I know that guy.
Saw that in the theater together. So
oh, that's good. I like that guy. He's got a weird eye. Or he can do his, he can move his eyes independently of each other.
Right.
They get really weird. I've seen him in lots of stuff.
That's hard to do, man. He was in Monster, the Charlize Theron movie.
That was in movie.
Natural Born Killers. As far as TV goes, he was on The Mentalist and a show that you like called Deadwood.
Yes, he was on Deadwood.
What do you remember of his work from Deadwood?
Well, he played one of 2 brothers that owned a gold claim, and he wanted to sell it to another character that was coming onto the show, and his brother didn't want to sell, so he shot his brother, and then was very upset by this, and then ended up getting shot himself. And he's a very large man, and in Deadwood, he was playing a very large man, and the doctor had to operate on him, but didn't want to because It was hard to get to his
because he was so large.
Because he was so large. Fantastic character. He did a great job. He does a great job in everything he does.
He does. He's one of those guys. He's a bit of that guy because I did recognize him, and I've definitely seen some of his work. Although I haven't watched Deadwood, despite your
You need to watch Deadwood, for crying out loud.
I know. It's on my long list. But I do definitely know who he is. I know I've seen him in numerous things. I think he's going to do a really good job as Otis.
I'm really glad they cast him. That's exciting.
That is exciting.
Yes, I remember him on the Mentalist as well. He plays somebody who's doing an investigation of the Mentalist and stuff, and sort of their boss.
Oh, okay, cool. So he plays more of an authority character on that show.
Yes, he does.
Interesting. I'm not sure I've ever seen him in a role like that. Pruitt Taylor Vince will be playing Otis. It's very exciting. So next we have Maggie being played by Lauren Cohen. Now this is an actress that I can't really say I know very much of. She was on Chuck. Is that a show you ever watched?
Sporadically.
I've seen the odd episode here or there, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what that show's all about, really. She was also in The Vampire Diaries. Have you ever seen that one?
I don't think I have.
No. Me either. Supernatural?
Nope. I do have the first 2 seasons of Supernatural on DVD, but I haven't watched them yet.
Or Van Wilder 2, The Rise of Taj?
I definitely have not seen that.
No, neither have I. I have seen the first Van Wilder, but apparently she wasn't in that one.
I haven't seen that one either. I haven't seen any of the American Pie stuff.
That's not American Pie. That's Van Wilder. Different
I
franchise.
thought Van Wilder was in American Pie.
No, not that I know of.
Are you sure?
I'm like 95% sure.
No, see, I would know because I haven't seen any of the American Pie stuff.
Well, some of those early American Pie movies
I
aren't
thought
bad.
the Van Wilder thing was kind of like it's National Lampoon's, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was a spin-off of the American Pie stuff.
Van Wilder is the one with Ryan Reynolds, and he's Van Wilder. He's not in the American Pie movies, unless Taj is a spin-off from a character in American Pie.
I just made a blanket assumption there. I guess I was like way off base on
Well,
that.
I don't know. I could be mistaken, but I don't think so.
Should I watch the American Pie stuff?
Well, the first 1 or 2 were okay.
Yeah.
The other 18 that they put out straight to DVD, I don't think are worth it.
The stories from Bandcamp or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently they're doing another one for theaters now with the original cast, so we'll see. Yeah, big time.
I'm thinking of Stifler.
Yeah, Stifler. That's not Van Wilder.
Yeah, okay. All right. So yeah, this whole aside is my fault. My mistake, and I apologize.
Try to stay on top of things next time.
Or at least on topic.
Yeah, that's right. So anyways, Lauren Cohen, do you know her from anything?
Nope.
I can't.
Looking at pictures, I got nothing.
I can't say that I do either, but I may at some point go back and check out some of her work, as we are prone to do here. Finally, the big character cast is of course Herschel Green, and he will be played by an actor named Scott Wilson. This is an older gentleman, of course, because Herschel's an older character. He's been around a long time. He's been in lots of big-time Hollywood movies, such as Dead Man Walking, Monster, along with Pruitt Taylor Vince, I guess.
That's a good movie.
Pearl Harbor.
Not a good movie.
And way back to 1969, In Cold Blood. I think that was 69. That's a famous
67.
67, sorry. The Last Samurai. That was the Tom Cruise movie about samurai, right?
I don't know.
You saw The Last Samurai, I'm sure.
I saw the Tom Cruise movie about samurais, but I don't know what it was called.
The Last Samurai. He also has a recurring role on CSI.
He was in Law and Order like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly, like pretty much everyone else. Gail Ann Hurd had this to say about Mr. Wilson. He's a veterinarian. No, this is about Herschel. He's a veterinarian with a great sense of humanity and a very unique take on the walkers. She goes on to say, not everyone in his family survives. So that'll be interesting. I mean, we know what happens in the comic book, but I guess they're going to sort of follow that line in the TV show as well.
Good.
Scott was chosen, says Hurd, because of his tremendous scope and gravitas.
Nice.
So there you go. What more can you ask for, really? Scope and gravitas.
That's all I've ever wanted was gravitas.
Yeah, maybe someday you'll get some.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I can go buy some scope.
So Scott Wilson, have you seen Dead Man Walking and Pearl Harbor in those movies?
I saw Pearl Harbor. I don't remember him from that. Dead Man Walking, I don't think I saw.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Although I heard it was good.
Yeah, but he's another one of those guys that I see pictures of. I'm like, oh yeah, him, right? But I couldn't name. If I didn't look these up, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what he acted in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm bad with that anyway.
Well, that's true too. I'd have to meet someone like 5 times before I remember who they are.
Tom Cruise, what was he in again?
Yeah, I did something called Top Gun.
Top what now?
Yeah, Risky Business. All right, now you know what era I'm from.
Yeah.
So there you go. We've got Pruitt Taylor Vince as Otis, Lauren Cohen as Maggie, and Scott Wilson as Herschel. Those are big casting developments there, I would say. It's very exciting.
Lots of stuff.
Hopefully we can get a video similar to the one we talked about a few minutes ago with some of these characters doing stuff in it. That'd be great.
If they're in the show yet. I mean, if they're just starting filming now, they might not be until they get to Herschel's farm.
Well, that's
so
what I mean.
like 3-4 episodes, right?
I know, but I mean, as they move along, I'd like to see some of them in action, that kind of thing.
Right. Me too.
Okay, speaking of filming season 2, we have our first dispatch from the set. They did this in season 1 as well, where people on set, usually Kirkman or one of the actors or Frank Darabont, would just do a quick little thing. Here we are on set, similar to what we had in that other video.
Right.
So, dispatch from the set, Frank Darabont. Regarding the farm location, he says the farmhouse was built in the late 1800s. It's got this wonderful blend of beauty and isolation, and it's just a little bit creepy. He also talked about it being a cross between a couple of things, and one of those things is the farmhouse from the Amityville Horror.
Oh, cool.
Which is, a creepy old farmhouse. So I think they probably found a really cool location for this.
Creepy windows.
Yeah, definitely creepy windows. Hopefully it's not the same location, because that'll just take
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's the Amityville house.
How about that? Once again. Here's a longer quote on expanding plot lines from the comic. He says, we're fleshing out the story in so many different directions. Once you're into this with real actors playing these characters, the dynamics develop over time from episode to episode. There's so much rich story and character to plunder. I don't know if we're giving anything away, but, and this could be a spoiler, something as simple in the comic book as, quote, Laurie gets pregnant, winds up being sort of a fantastic complication on screen. In the story we're telling, it's not just that simple as it was in the comic book because you have those opportunities to really spin the story out in many different layers.
Yes.
So do you think he's saying that in the TV show Laurie gets pregnant?
Pretty much.
Pretty much,
Well, yeah, I mean, like, it's a big surprise.
Well, I'm not saying it's a surprise, but no one really knows. And as any longtime listeners remember, that's my call for what Dr. Jenner whispered to Rick in CDC.
Yeah, that makes the most sense, I think.
And I think that's what most people are expecting. That being the case, maybe they'll go a different direction on the show.
Oh my god, I hope it's not a zombie baby.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh my god.
We don't want any zombie babies.
No.
Your baby's a zombie. Do what you want with that. Good luck.
Deal with that, sucker.
So I think Darabont basically all but just revealed that the pregnancy is at least going to be a part of the show.
Yes.
Which, for a long time there was some question as to whether they would even bring that up. My feeling was that with Shane still alive and them exploring all that conflict, they didn't necessarily need the pregnancy.
Well, I think the pregnancy actually adds to that conflict. Whose baby is it?
It sure does, but I think for a TV show sometimes, I mean, you might have enough there just with the fact that the conflict is ongoing a little bit and there's two relationships still happening.
Right.
The pregnancy does complicate it a fair bit. You're absolutely right.
She's not going to give birth this season, though. There's no way.
No. I mean, they've
not going to jump 9 months in 13 episodes.
No.
Or 8 months or whatever it is.
Probably not.
I know that, gestation period is 9 months. I just don't know how long she's been pregnant.
I wasn't sure if you were aware or not. I wasn't going to bring it up.
What now? I think it's like 6 months or something.
It's getting faster, It's all the hormones in the food,
Yeah, 9 women can give birth in 1 month.
That's right. That's how it works, I think.
Yeah.
How long has the zombie apocalypse been going on? In season 1, about a month, right?
It's been 6 weeks, months, something like that.
And season 1 encapsulated no more than 4 or 5 days of time.
That's long.
So at that time, she's probably 2 weeks along, something like that, maybe 3 at the most.
Yeah.
So
Was she pregnant before Rick went into his coma, though, right?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm assuming she was not, but
Well, then it's got to be Shane's.
yeah, it's got to be Shane's if not. But yeah, we don't really know how far along she is. So anyways, season 2, as you said, probably won't span 9 months of time or the required amount of time for cooking a baby.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. But anyways, it looks like that will be part of the show, which is kind of exciting news for anyone who's looking forward to a pregnancy on the show. Why not? Eh?
The plot thickens, and pregnancies always thicken plots.
Yeah, they never thin it out. That's for sure.
Oh, she's pregnant? That's great. That really relieves my mind. I'm very happy to hear that.
Of course.
Phew.
So, moving right along, Deadline.com did an interview with Frank Darabont. They asked him some interesting questions, one of which was about the firing of the season 1 writing staff, and he finally gave us a pretty straight answer on what went down.
Good.
Up to this point, we all sort of thought that no, they weren't really fired. It was just they, weren't on board for the second season, and they restructured their writing staff. No big deal.
They got restructured out of a job.
Yeah, I guess so. What Darabont had to say, though, was, let me just begin by stating the obvious. That was all pretty overblown, of course. It left the impression that I walked in one day and murdered 12 people.
That's pretty harsh.
That's pretty harsh. Hopefully that's not true.
Yeah.
Would you like to know how many writers we were talking about? 2. My thought had been that they underdelivered and a change was necessary. I had to do too much of it by myself last year, and that was only 6 episodes. This season it's 13, and we've hired fantastic writing staff.
Hopefully none of which will be let go.
Yeah,
under delivering.
It's just interesting that he actually came out and said, you know what, I wasn't really happy with some of the, couple of the writing staff last year, and in fact I had to take on too much of that role myself.
Yeah. I had similar problems with people at work.
I thought it was remarkably candid, actually.
Yeah.
You have these problems, your writing staff at work is good?
Sometimes I work with staff that underdeliver.
Yeah, I guess we all do a little bit.
Only, usually I don't have the power to fire them, but I am able to get them fired on occasion.
That's right, if you work hard enough at that, you can get anyone
Why
fired.
just point out the flaw and let the chips fall where they may?
There you go. So, also in the Deadline.com interview, when asked about how the show will develop in season 2, Frank Darabont said, it's fair to say that the first 6 episodes were teeing up a lot of conflicts that will be more fully explored in our second season.
Golf metaphor.
We find a growing conflict with our 2 main guys, Rick and Shane. We're really excited about putting all the characters on a chessboard and seeing how wonderfully and effectively we can toss conflict into the game.
It's not really a chess metaphor.
No, I guess not. But I suppose there's not really a lot there we didn't assume anyhow. But,
right.
it's just fun to hear them talking about this kind of stuff too. So
Good stuff.
There's some good stuff in that interview. If you want to check it out, there will be a link in our show notes as always. The next 2 news items relate to each other because they are both about the Saturn Awards. I think, first of all, let's just say that The Walking Dead won a Saturn Award.
When they don't get a Saturn. When they win this award.
No, they do not get the planet Saturn.
Or a Saturn.
They don't get, well, they might. I don't know what the trophy looks like for the Saturn.
No, I'm thinking a car.
Oh, or the car, yeah.
They can get a car.
No.
I'm sure they're not going to get the Saturn. Here you go. Here's the deed to Saturn. Have fun.
Yeah, good luck with that. They may get a statue that has a Saturn-y type ball on the top.
That'd be pretty cool.
Saturn's got rings, right?
It does.
So
Saturn's rings even.
There you go. So it may have that. I haven't seen what the Saturn Award looks like, but they probably don't get the car. Just like the Eagle Awards, they don't actually get eagles.
Could have fooled me.
You dumbass. Anyways, they won the Saturn Award for Best Television Presentation.
All right.
It's a bit of a strangely named award, if you ask me. Like, what exactly does Best Television Presentation mean? I suppose they're just trying to encompass the whole, the whole element of putting something on TV.
It's got to be an industry term of some kind. Like it's best television show would have been, a consumer term of some kind, but best television presentation, it's got to be industry.
I guess it factors in everything though, like cinematography and writing and locations and all these sorts of things. It's the whole package is a presentation put on TV,
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's so either way. Congratulations to The Walking Dead for Best Television Presentation.
Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe they're talking about the the graphic design of the posters and the box design and everything that went along with the television show in order to promote it.
Yeah, maybe marketing is factored in. I don't know.
Billboards and all that kind of stuff.
Well, speaking at the awards, Frank Darabont, and Gail Ann Hurd were interviewed, and they talked a little bit about what they've been doing on directing in season 2. Frank Darabont says he's hoping to do the 13th episode, the final one. He said that remains entirely if Hurd lets me.
That's fair.
So as producer, I guess she gets the final say on such things. So I don't see why she wouldn't let him. He's an accomplished director.
He's probably just giving her a little job.
Oh yeah, probably.
If she lets me.
That's right. So that'd be fun to see him directing another episode. On Michonne being added to the cast, he said, I can officially tell you she is coming in the 3rd season.
All right.
So assuming there is a 3rd season, which is a pretty safe assumption, but nothing is set in stone.
Yep. I want to count my chickens before they hatch.
You wouldn't want to do that. But Michonne will be in the 3rd season if we get one. Right, it's very exciting. And this is a really, really interesting interview. Lots of revealing stuff in there, so check out the link to that to go see more. Right. Finally, in the news today, we got a call onto our voicemail line from somebody who was looking for work as a zombie expert in the show.
Right.
This is something we talked about, I don't know, a few episodes ago about how they were casting zombies, and we gave out a email address for you to contact if you were interested in such work. Just to clarify that we have no, official involvement with the show, so we are the wrong people to contact if you want to be an extra as a zombie.
Yeah, we don't even hire extras for the show, for our show.
No, I don't know why we've got these 2 people behind me just sitting there pretending like they're eating dinner. But
they're interns.
That's right. So to the person who called in, I'm sorry, but we cannot help you with that. And but if you are interested in being a zombie, apparently the email address to contact is twdextras@gmail.com.
The Walking Dead Extras, TWD stands for The Walking Dead, at gmail.com.
That is the email address for zombie extra work on the show, according to posts around the internet. Anyways, I have not contacted them myself, but if anyone was mistaken into thinking that we could help you, sorry if I wasn't clear about that.
Well, we can help in our own small way by pointing you in the right direction.
There you go. Exactly. If you're confused at all, twdextras@gmail.com. Yep. Coming up after the break, it is our actor spotlight on Norman Reedus. We watched some of his old back catalog, and right after this, we'll have that for you.
Hope and run, living the dream. What we're doing is not what it seems. First to last, best to worst, ash to ash.
For you, the listeners of The Talking Dead, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 14-day trial to give you a chance to check out their service.
I recommend Pandora's Star by Peter F. Hamilton. It's the first book. Is the question?
Have not heard of it.
Have not. Peter F. Hamilton is one of my favorite sci-fi writers, actually. This is the first book in the Commonwealth saga. He's a British writer, and this story begins in the year 2830 after humans gained wormhole technology.
Wormhole technology. So we've left the planet.
We've left the planet, and humans discover 2 Dyson spheres, or a Dyson pair. And do you know what a Dyson sphere is, Mr. Ferris?
Nope.
A Dyson sphere is a sphere that completely engulfs a star beyond at least some of the planets. So imagine a sphere at the distance of the star that Earth is from the sun, and completely encompasses it. So a full sphere that completely encompasses an entire star.
Is it a real thing, or is it a theoretical thing?
It's a theoretical thing by a guy named Dyson, but there's no way we could build one. It's crazy.
Okay, so I understand. All right.
So they discover one.
It's not like a mathematical concept or something.
No. Okay. It's just imagine this crazy thing if you could encompass an entire star in something. So they discovered some in a couple of Dyson spheres, and this is the story about that.
What's the book called again?
Pandora's Star.
Pandora's Star by
Peter F. Hamilton.
Peter F. Hamilton.
One of my favorite sci-fi writers. And the book is 37 hours and 26 minutes.
Available on audible.com. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/talkingdead. Again, that's audibletrial.com/talkingdead for your free audiobook.
You were the best. Now you're through it. You're on to the next. So you're leaving now. Haven't done enough. Will they hold you to it? Will you rise above? We'll get through.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. As promised before the break, it is now time for our actor spotlight on Norman Reedus himself. On the show, he plays Daryl, also known as Squirrel Chuckin' Daryl.
Squirrel Chuckin' Daryl. Crossbow toting Squirrel Chuckin' Daryl.
That's him. He does both of those things with vigor, I would say.
Anyway, I'm not sure if crossbow is the right implement to hunt squirrels.
No,
that's just me.
No, I guess not.
Slingshot, maybe.
Great implement for hunting zombies, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, you get your bolts back, and you can reuse them. Perfect for a while, anyway. Until they're too covered in blood that you can't even pick them up.
I'm glad you know that it's called a bolt and not an arrow.
Oh, there's one or two things I know.
One or two.
Yeah, exactly. So, we watched, I'm going to quickly list off what we watched, and then we'll get into each one. We watched The Boondock Saints from 1999.
Sure did.
Masters of Horror, John Carpenter's Cigarette Burns.
Yep.
Law & Order, SVU, Season 7, Episode 22, entitled Influence.
Yep.
And finally, Dark Harbor, a movie from 1998. So, Jason, let's start with The Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints.
Probably Norman Reedus' best-known role, maybe before The Walking Dead, because he's certainly got some notoriety for the current role he's playing.
Right.
Boondock Saints was directed by Troy Duffy. It stars Willem Dafoe, Sean Patrick Flannery, Billy Connolly, and Norman Reedus, of course, as Murphy McManus.
Great name.
This movie, fraternal twins set out to rid Boston of the evil men operating there while being tracked down by an FBI agent. That oversimplification is directly from IMDb.
But I think that's concise. I don't think it's an oversimplification.
Maybe not. I mean, for a one-sentence movie description, it does the job, I suppose.
It's got everything in there. It's got Boston, it's got twins, it's got evil, it's got operating, it's got FBI agent.
And tracked down. It's got tracked down.
Yeah.
So this was my first viewing of The Boondock Saints.
I think it was mine too. I may have seen parts of it in the past, but I think this is the first time that I sat down and watched this thing from door to door.
Did you sort of recognize stuff while you were watching? Is that why you think that?
Oh, yes. Mostly Willem Dafoe, to tell you the truth.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know for sure it was my first viewing. And as I said, this is Norman Reedus' probably most well-known role before The Walking Dead. It kind of made him famous, I think. And I thought the movie started weak but ended strong.
Well, that's my first notice. It started out kind of crappy, but got better.
Well, I'm not sure I would say crappy, but near the beginning, the FBI agent played by Willem Dafoe is investigating the crime scene.
Right.
And then he puts on the headphones and listens to the classical music, and that's how he does his investigation.
Yep.
And the whole scene came off, to me anyway, slightly goofy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That could be what they were going for. There was a slightly goofy element to the entire movie, but not so much so that you couldn't take the movie seriously. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But then as the movie progressed and these two brothers kind of took their vigilante calling to the next level, it became sort of awesome, I thought.
I thought it ended a lot stronger than it started.
Well, I mean, what draws them into this lifestyle all sort of happens by accident, right?
Yep.
So that's probably why they're a little bit bumbling at first. And of course, there's the scene where he throws the toilet down on the guy and then jumps down, which is a bit crazy.
From like 4 stories up.
Yeah. I guess you got to land on someone if you're going to do that.
He didn't.
No, not really. But then later on, there's the scene with them in the vents.
Yep.
And then they're kind of still bumbling there.
They
Too,
get tangled up in the rope.
Tangled up and they fall down and spin around upside down and shoot everyone in the room.
Yeah.
Now, it was a little bit crazy, but it was totally awesome, I thought.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was sort of my feeling. I really enjoyed the movie by the end of it, even though it took me a few minutes to get going with it.
Yeah, a couple things that I noted here is that Ron Jeremy is in this.
Oh, yes, Ron
And
Jeremy.
anything with Ron Jeremy in a non-porn role is okay by me.
Porn roles are okay by you, too, though.
Well, not Ron Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the hedgehog in the business. And,
For obvious reasons.
In a lot of porn starlets contracts, they have in there, I will do anything but animals and Ron Jeremy.
How do you know that?
Because there was a show on late night television called Pornocopia. Did you ever watch that?
Nope.
You don't have cable. This was years ago though, where they did. It was kind of a documentary on the porn industry in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. And so they interviewed the porn producers and directors and some of the stars and that kind of stuff. And they just talked about the porn industry, and they did a little thing on Ron Jeremy.
Well, his character in the Boondock Saints, I didn't quite get why
It was just a cameo role. Ron Jeremy he's like one of the busiest guys in porn acting. He's all over the place doing scenes and conventions and all this kind of stuff. He's always on the go, and he's always trying to break into that legitimate theater. So I think this was a kind of like, hey, let's get Ron Jeremy in here.
All right. I mean, I understood the scene. It's just he wasn't there for any particular reason.
No, other than Ron Jeremy being in the movie.
I got it.
It's okay by me, really.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it was filmed in Toronto because it was a Lakeview lunch.
I looked that up. It was filmed in Toronto.
Because I was watching it right near the end. I'm like, hey, Lakeview lunch. And then there was the one scene where I knew that Norman Reedus was sitting in the very stool that I sat in and had lunch one time.
Really? That's very exciting.
And my friend Julia was a waitress there.
That's also exciting.
It was great.
It was definitely filmed mostly in Toronto. The final scenes apparently were filmed in Boston. Obviously, all the wide stuff is stock footage from Boston or shot for the movie in Boston. I don't know. But the rest of it was in Toronto, so hometown for you and me.
If you ever get to Toronto, go to the Lakeview lunch. It is a true 50s diner. It has not been remodeled since the 50s.
You know, even that alley from the beginning, we could find that because there was a couple of very distinctive storefronts in the background, and I think I know where they are.
Yeah, I didn't catch on the Toronto aspect of it until the Lakeview lunch right at the end there. So
Well, that alley in the background is Henry's, the camera store.
okay.
So now
They're downtown?
Well, I think so. There's a few of them, right? But
they're all over the place. If there's an alley, it's got to be one downtown.
that's what I'm saying. So the alley might not be there anymore. It might be completely different now.
Probably
I don't know.
McDonald's now.
Yeah, probably. So that's cool. Now, what did you think of Norman Reedus particularly in this film?
I thought you did a really good job.
I would agree with that. Concise and to the point.
There you
He was just fun to watch. He
Yeah.
was just fun to watch, doing kind of what these two brothers were doing.
Shooting people and being vigilantes.
And being goofballs. So cool. Boondock Saints, I enjoyed it. If anyone out there hasn't seen it, go check it out. Go rent it from your local video store, and you won't be disappointed. At least not in the second half.
Yes.
There you go.
You won't leave disappointed.
No, you will not. Jason, introduce the next.
Masters of Horror, John Carpenter's Cigarette Burns, directed by John Carpenter, starring Udo Kier and Norman Reedus as Kirby. So, with a torrid past that haunts him, a movie theater director is hired to hunt for the only known print of a film so notorious that its single screening caused the viewers to become homicidally insane.
That's not something you want to happen after watching a movie. I would think.
Why would you want to, screen a movie that would cause everybody to go on a rampage and burn a theater down and
kill each other?
and destroy the only known print?
It makes no sense to me. Overall, this whole program made little sense to me.
Okay, I take that back. Why wouldn't you want to make a movie that does exactly that?
Well, for
If
the
you could,
notoriety, I guess.
if you could, I made a movie that made everybody go crazy and burn down the theater.
Not a lot of screenings are going. Your movie's not going to find much success, financial success.
Well, I think the director, his whole point was to do something that's impactful, and that was very impactful.
Okay. As a presentation by John Carpenter, what did you think of this?
I'm not a big fan of John Carpenter, to tell you the truth. I'm not a big fan of this kind of gore horror genre.
Well, I'm okay with that kind of stuff, but I didn't think this was very good at all. Like, I thought it was awkwardly written and weirdly acted, and just the whole story didn't really come together and make much sense.
The thing that didn't make any sense to me was that the first step he makes is to somebody who wrote a review. Why wouldn't you find who produced the movie? Maybe they have a copy.
Yeah, but I think the point was they didn't really know who was involved. And he was running down the list of all the people, and they're all dead. And he was searching for someone who was at that screening where they burned the place down and killed everybody.
Right.
And that writer was there.
It didn't make any sense to me.
Well, the whole thing was kind of ridiculous. I mean, they introduced this supernatural element to it, involving an angel, which it never really paid off. I mean, even though the final scene involved this angel-type person,
yeah,
I didn't really get it. I think the whole point of this was that it drove people crazy because they saw an actual angel have its wings clipped in this fictional film.
Yes. I think it made sense to me, though.
But it didn't pay off. The angel was introduced at the beginning and then showed up at the end with no mention in between.
Well, that's because they were trying to figure out. First of all, I didn't know it was an angel. Did you know it was an angel? Did they tell us it was an angel at the beginning? I just missed it.
No, it was clear though, because that guy who hires Norman Reedus shows him a prop from the movie, which is mounted on his wall, which are big angel wings. Right. And then takes him through the hidden bookcase and shows him this character, and you see as the person spins around where they've been.
All right. So I didn't put two and two together, but I figured it was that was a journey of discovery to figure out what the hell was going on and why this caused all kinds of problems. And what they set up was that if you put something violent like that, true violence, on film, it gives the film power. Mm-hmm. And then this thing where they actually did violence to an angel and put it on film was like that big giant leap past just normal violence. Right. There was enough power in that film to cause everybody to go crazy and kill everybody around themselves and burn the whole theater down. I thought it was a natural progression in its own internal logic.
I can get that. I can see your point though. I can see sort of what they were trying to do. It's just I think they could kind of make that point without the angel aspect to it. Keep it a little bit more grounded in reality.
Well, you'd have to have something so horrifically violent that it caused insanity. Just seeing normal violence is powerful. Like seeing true, actual normal violence is something that just fake violence I can handle. Real violence I can't handle at all. Mm-hmm. So that kind of thing on film I can see that as being powerful. But this has to be something such a giant leap past that. What are you gonna do? You torture a whale? Because it's so much bigger?
I don't think it's just about size.
Torture 70 people? So you go to something supernatural. So you go to the supernatural good. So I think that leap to angel is the right choice.
Okay, well, I can see your point. I just thought there should have been a little bit more sort of in the meat of the sandwich there that brought this angel into play a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this whole genre to begin with, but I can see the internal logic. And that's all I really require out of a film.
Internal logic. Makes sense within itself.
Internal logic. That's all I want.
All right. Well, Norman Reedus plays the guy who goes to find this film and ultimately does, and is kind of forced to watch it. Yep. Kind of forced to watch it, and ends up, spoiler, shooting himself in the face.
Yeah, well, I mean, after you see somebody use their own bowels as film and projector, it's going to drive you a little crazy.
Yeah, I guess so. That was right before he ended up.
Yeah, it was before they saw the film.
Before he saw the film.
It was silly and gross.
Yeah, I guess so. And just for fun, the movie was housed in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah, why not?
From the director's wife. So I thought Norman was okay in this for what he was given to work with. The I don't know, it was ham-fisted a little bit.
It was.
The writing wasn't
the whole father-in-law aspect, owing money to his father-in-law. I saw that as completely unnecessary.
Well, that's why he was doing this. He was looking for the $200,000 payoff for finding the film to pay him back.
Well, why would you be hired if this wasn't something you're interested in?
You're right. It didn't need to be there. Absolutely.
No, get hired. Look for the film. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, but they were introducing a flaw in his character, right? He was married to that guy's daughter, and she killed herself, and that was that
your wife can just have killed herself and not have to have the father-in-law involved. Owing him money seems like pouring salt in the wounds.
They might not have even needed the wife passed, to be honest.
Yeah. So he could be just having marital problems. Well, if he was getting a divorce and needed to pay her off for it because they jointly owned the theater.
Sure. Anyway, good work. But he was pretty good. I mean, this was probably my least favorite of the four things we watched.
Yep.
Because it bugged me.
Not for me.
In the way it kind of sucked. Yep. Law and Order SVU Season 7, Episode 22, called Influence.
Yep.